is it that Black women aren't allowed to be introverted at work? Why is there this unspoken expectation for us to be chipper and excited or funny or entertaining? Otherwise, we don't like our job, or we don't like our coworkers, or we're not fitting into the culture. I'm in this Corporate Baddies Connect group chat where Black women of all industries just like share their experiences, and that's what we've been talking about lately. It's just like performance reviews are coming around, and a lot of people are getting docked or getting reprimanded for being unengaged, is what they call it. And it's like, that's not fair. Like, that is not a fair expectation for us.
How about being tone police even when silent? My silence also is an attitude. Bruh, I cannot even tell y'all how many times I got this from so many supervisors, especially while I was in grad school. Like, oh, Shonda, you're too quiet. You're not engaging with the other students. You're not talkative enough. Like, what do y'all want me to do? Freestyle? I'm not about to sit here and talk when I have nothing to say. But then I was reading an article about this, and it made so much sense. It's called Black Women Aren't Allowed to Be Introverted. I need y'all to look this up. The author's name is Sequoia Holmes, but listen to this one part. She said, as a self-identified introverted Black woman navigating mostly white spaces, I often find that my peers and coworkers have preconceived assumptions about who I am based on Black womanhood. When I fail to live up to the funny, entertaining, sassy Black woman stereotype, they're quick to assume my failure to entertain is because I don't like them. When I tell y'all, everything literally can be traced back to racism.
Now it's a problem to be an introvert. Hello guys and welcome back. How are you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. I was surprised when I saw this. Like, now it is a problem for a Black lady to be an introvert. I am going to be rolling a clips because when these kind of topics pop up, that's when you're going to know, like, indeed people are going through it. These kind of topics, you know what I mean, that people have actually been affected personally. I do not know, like, you being quiet is a problem. I never knew it until I am listening to these ladies right here. They are just telling us different stories, you know what I mean. Let's jump right into this. Credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity to have our comment.
It can be really hard being a person that is not like a surface level person. The way I see things are not surface level. The type of conversations that I want to have are not surface level conversations. Nothing exhausts me more than inauthentic interactions. And I'm not saying I can't have small talk, because I can absolutely have small talk. But I want to be around people that I can talk about nothing with and everything with at the same time. And I feel like if you have substance of any sort, to the common person, it might seem like a lot, or you might just seem so deep for very shallow people. And even in this dating world, one thing I realized, when you have substance, I feel like it comes across as boring to people that can't think past 2 + 2 is 4. And I'm realizing the more that you work on your inner self, your spiritual being, the less interesting you are to people, to men, to people, to in general, that haven't done any type of inner work. People who are not connected to anything but the surface level and the common conversations, or people who just don't appreciate intellectual being, you can end up feeling like you're left out because people just won't relate to you. Or people might pretend to be like you so that they can figure you out, but you guys won't really connect on that level. So I can really appreciate being different, because I feel like it weeds out people that just aren't on the same frequency. I think the more that I am myself, the more that I can attract people who are like me. The more I am forced to align with people who appreciate and understand the type of person that I am.
I saw a video talking about how Black women are not allowed to be introverted at work. So let's dive into this. You know how corporate TikTok has been having all these conversations about personality hires? Well, Black women are expected to be personality hires who are also good at their jobs. You can't just be one or the other, you have to be both. If a Black woman is great at her job, but she's shy, or if she's great at her job, but she doesn't like engaging with her coworkers on a personal level like that, That's often a problem. Not only is it considered to be a problem, but she's also often going to get penalized for it. Like, I can't tell you how many stories I've heard from my girlfriends where they were given a talking to from their managers because they skipped happy hour, or how their team is giving them the cold shoulder because they've set a boundary where they won't add coworkers on social media. And this is one of the things that can be especially frustrating about companies that are still willing to tout their commitment to diversity and inclusion. Because they might absolutely be down to hire a black woman, but if that black woman is just there to do her job and not there to be everyone's bestie, that's a problem. And I know that a lot of these negative responses to quiet black women are a product of their coworkers' insecurities, but those insecurities aren't really our problem. If I'm quiet while I'm working, it's because I'm focused on my work. It's not because I secretly hate you. If I don't go to a company happy hour, it's because I don't want to go to that company happy hour. Also, I'm not being paid to go to that company happy hour. It's not because I secretly hate everybody at the company. And you know what? Maybe this company isn't my cup of tea, but as long as I'm not being rude about it and I'm doing my job well, who cares? So yeah, let black women be quiet at work and stop punishing us for literally minding our own business.
Hot take, but as a quiet, introverted black woman, I find that this is especially true and actually exacerbated if they're in a situation with other black women that are falling into that entertaining, sassy black woman like kind of stereotype. I'll definitely watch the original video, but to give you the cliff notes, they're talking about how there's an article called Black Women Can't Be Quiet or Introverted in the Workplace, and if they're not upholding the stereotype of being that, you know, y'all all know that one like very entertaining, funny, sassy black woman, if you're not falling into that, then people instantly assume you don't like them or you're stuck up or whatever. And I mean, growing up at work, even in grad school, I continue to get the feedback that, oh my gosh, you're quiet, you could speak up more, blah, blah, blah. And so basically I was growing up conditioned to believe that being quiet is bad and you have to basically change yourself to be successful, especially in a place like business. And I know that all introverts, regardless of race, have to deal with this on some level, but you basically have to become somebody you're not because you're tired of watching the people that are loud, don't know what the hell they're talking about, getting advancements and all these things while you're just kind of getting left behind. And so now being extroverted is something I can definitely turn on and turn off depending on the setting, but I feel like I always need like 1 to 2 business days to just recharge after something like that. And it still amazes me that sometimes I'll still get people saying, oh my God, I thought you were stuck up. Oh my God, I thought you didn't like us. And whole time I'm actually the opposite, trying to figure out the perfect things to say that I end up not saying anything because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But I mean, this is something I'm very passionate about. I could go on and on about this. So in your experience, how much did you feel like you had to change as a black woman to be successful, especially if you're introverted?
A reminder that being the good black person at work will never serve you. I've been in corporate America for about 5 years now, and if there's anything that I learned, it's that overperforming and putting on a fake persona to get your foot into certain doors will only nail you to the cross later. And I'm not even gonna blame black people who do this because we have learned that we have to code switch to get certain opportunities. But at a certain point, you realize it's like, oh my gosh, at what cost? Because let me tell you what happens. Once you get that job, you are going to be held to the standard of showing up as that person from the interview every damn day. And the moment that you don't, God help you. And I'm saying this from firsthand experience that I am currently living. The best advice I've gotten to combat this whole phenomenon of like being held to the like really weird and unachievable standards of personality, manage their expectations from the beginning. And what that can look like is just letting your manager know that, hey, like if I ever look disinterested, that's me processing. It takes longer for me to process things sometimes. So just want to give you a heads up there. It's exhausting that we even have to do that. But as a black woman, I know firsthand, God forbid that you are a laid back personality, because that will oftentimes be taken as disinterest or even anger. So yeah, keep their expectations online with who you are from the beginning. That is the best advice I ever got from upper management that is black. Because when you put on the whole jovial, hi, oh my gosh, when you put on that act in the interview and then you get the job and you know, you're just chilling like me, they do not take your work performance into account. They'll just start saying that you're not a cultural fit, aka you are not showing up in ways that perform to the standard of whiteness in the office. It's hard.
Kiowa, just let the black women breathe. Like, what is going on? Isn't it supposed to be like a plus to any company that hired a black woman, an introvert, that she is not causing any trouble? You know what I mean? But I love what this last lady said. Like, who you are is who you should be at the interview. You cannot give them a different person at an interview, and you are giving them a different person when you get hired. Be who you are. If they are gonna give you the job, they are gonna give you the job. If they ain't gonna give you the job, they are not going to give you the job. You know what I mean? Be who you are. And I will say it again. It is time for the black women to be left alone and let the black women be who they are. You know what I mean? Like, why everything have to be like moved back to being whole because you are an introvert? You do not want to speak to nobody. You do not want to mingle with nobody. No, it's not the reasons. Some are just like love it to be alone. Some just do not like too much of a crowd. And I do not think it should be a problem for any companies that you hired a black educated woman to be in your company and she ain't causing no problem. How is that a problem? How is that a problem? Just like one lady said right there, and credit to the creators. We gotta say that credit to the creators for giving us this opportunity. You know what I mean? Y'all can see there's one lady out there. She is indeed an introvert. Like even the way she was speaking. Can y'all leave the black women alone? You are getting everything. You've drained the black women out of their bodies. Now they just wanna like keep to themselves, just give y'all what I was being hired for. Now is a problem. What do you think? Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. I do not think it should be a problem for any companies. They should be happy, glad that you've been an introvert for sure. You're gonna have any drama in their companies. Are we making sense right here? I will catch up with you guys. Let's add our comment. Let's make this gist. Let's make it fun. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.